Welcome back to We Like That podcast.
Because we like that. I'm Joe.
And I'm Calvin.
Welcome back to We Like That podcast.
Because we like that.
Of course. So I have a little message for all of us. It's been very interesting and a little crazy.
Oh, God, no. I hope it's
and
not
I feel
who
like
I think.
we all could use this word.
It's not.
To guide you into a path of righteousness, into a path of love, into a path of restoration. Jesus Christ, man, look at me. He saved me. Looking all crazy. People probably don't believe I'm saved, but I'm saved. I'm happy, and he'll bring peace to you. Jesus Christ, he accepts you wherever you're at. Come how you are, and I promise you, Jesus loves you so much that he won't let you stay like that. He'll transform you. Jesus.
There you go. It's a good word. It's a good word. I think it's great. Just in case you didn't know.
I don't like what they're doing to my Lord and Savior. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. They're either angry and
aggressive in their
pretending to
beliefs.
be part of the kingdom, or they're very aggressive
You know what?
and happy pretending to be part of the
I
kingdom.
believe this man,
There's
though. I believe him.
There's no middle ground.
I think he really did find Christ. I really do think he found that for himself. He's just very enthusiastic about it.
I'm just saying I don't like what they're doing with Jesus.
Why are you okay with this? But why are you not okay with this? But you're okay with that Kevin guy,
Kevin who? The
the
singing.
black guy who.
First of all, he's
Jesus.
singing us to heaven. Number one, he's singing us to heaven. Okay,
He's shouting us to heaven. This guy is shouting us to heaven.
he's just yelling to yell.
No, he's not.
He's very excited. He's very happy to be saved. I guess.
Why you say it like that?
I guess. I don't know. All I'm saying is, Kevin sings us to heavenly joy.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so that's the difference. Oh, by the way, this is That Happened with Joe. Skitty bop bop ba bop bop.
All right. They have a Michael Jackson versus Prince versus. You want to listen to
I
one?
thought we already did it.
No, we haven't. This is brand new. We haven't touched it.
Let's see what happens.
Do you want to?
Yes, let's see what
I
happens.
feel like I'm gonna be sad. Okay.
Versus Prince Part 1. Let's go.
If you want me to.
I would have put that with this one.
God damn it. You know R. Kelly wrote that, right?
You tell me that every time. Yep.
Well, that just might break the tie.
You got Michael Jackson.
Well, they've got several parts also, so we can save some for the next following weeks. First one was Michael Jackson, "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough" out of 1979, and this was versus Prince, 1999, that came out in 1982.
Tie. I can't. Tie. I listen to them both ridiculously a lot.
It's gonna be 1999 for me. I don't listen to rock with you like that.
I listen to both of them. They play on my Spotify damn near every morning. I'm not even gonna lie to
They
you.
are normal. Oh no, that wasn't rock with you. What was it again? Now
Don't
this
stop
is-
till you get enough.
Yeah, don't stop. Now it's rock with you versus I want to be your lover. I want to be your
rock
lover.
I rock with you.
I want to be your lover.
Rock with you.
Then you got Remember the Times versus. Oh, they're playing it really long. I Would Die for You. I Would Die for You.
I picked neither really, but if I had to pick one, it's gonna be Remember the Time
Okay.
by default.
Okay.
But for me, honestly, a tie
Okay.
because I'll skip them both.
I know the words to
a lot
all of them.
times.
I know
Yeah.
the words to all of them.
I'll skip them both. Depends on how I'm feeling.
But I do love "I Would Die for You." I like that song.
Darling, if you want me to, you.
How it starts off. I'm not your woman. I'm not your man. I'm something you'll never understand. As a little kid, I was like, whatever. But as an adult, I was like, wait a second. Wait a second.
He thinks he's the goddamn Messiah. That's blasphemy.
Blasphemy.
That right there tells me it's gonna be remember the time. Remember the time for me.
Also, this is the era of Prince where he was wearing like assless chaps with heels and makeup and blouses.
I don't appreciate the ass out thing.
I appreciated it.
I don't want to see your cheeks.
I was fine with that.
Like my aunt just like, put your pants up. I don't want to see your ass cheeks when you come to my house.
I didn't realize his hair was pressed in the 70s though. He had like pressed,
Yeah,
flowy hair.
it was bump.
It's interesting. Okay, then we have Michael Jackson, PYT, Pretty Young Thing, that came out in 83. Just off the Thriller album. And then we also have that versus Prince, Little Red Corvette.
Tie. I bump them both religiously.
Yeah.
Tie.
Yeah.
I can't choose. Tie.
Yeah. I will. So for me personally, I do listen to more Prince than I do Michael Jackson in my regular rotation right now.
I listen to both religiously.
I know you do. You love Michael Jackson. Next we have Beat It, 1983, versus Something Is Throwing Me His Whole Dance. When Doves Cry, 84.
Okay. This is where overall it's going to be in a tie for me.
Okay.
But Doves Cry.
Doves Cry is
Beat
great.
It. Yeah, Doves Cry will beat it.
Doves Cry is amazing.
Don't get me wrong. I play Beat It maybe sometimes, but I'd never skip Doves Cry.
Right.
Never.
Then it's You Are Not Alone out of 1995. That's Michael Jackson. I don't know who doesn't know that, but just in case. Then we have Prince and the Revolution, Purple Rain, 1984.
When I was a kid, You Are Not Alone.
Yes, same. When I was a little kid, absolutely.
As an adult, it's Purple Rain.
I agree. Concur. I agree.
So tie.
Okay, that's fair. All right, that was it. That was last ones. And there's 4 parts to it.
At some point, Michael Jackson's going to pull away.
You said I'm just telling you that now.
I'm just telling you now.
Get yourself ready.
Just get ready.
Do you want to do the rest of the parts?
Let's do one more.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure. Then again, I don't know. Because according to what Michael Jackson songs he starts picking, it's going to get iffy for me.
Okay. Let's see what they do.
Prince Part 2. Let's go.
The Stalker anthem, great.
This wasn't a soccer anthem?
He just likes getting pissed, that's all. I don't care what goes against that. It's losing. Oh, well, I already know what I'm going to pick right there. It's not even, I thought. This scared me.
You got Michael Jackson.
Okay.
So.
In my opinion, Michael Jackson already pulled away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of did.
Yeah. Do you want to listen to 3 and 4 just for kicks? We know Michael's winning.
We can listen to him next week.
Okay. We can save him.
But
do you want me to go over the verses? Okay.
Yeah.
Because some of those Prince songs, I didn't even know what they were.
Oh,
right.
I knew them all.
Billie Jean, 1983. That's Michael Jackson, in case you didn't know. And that is versus Prince and the Revolution, Raspberry Beret. Beret.
Okay. It's going to be crazy when I say this.
Okay.
I play Raspberry Beret way more than I play Billie Jean.
That is crazy because I definitely thought you were going to go the other way around. Okay.
Not gonna lie to you. Every
Very
time
interesting.
Raspberry Beret come on,
yeah.
I listen to it. I do not skip. I do not skip. And just for kicks, rewind.
It's a great song. It's a great song.
Billie Jean, I will play it, but sometimes depending on how I'm feeling, I'll skip.
I feel like if this was Dirty Diana versus this, it'd be a different answer for me. It'd be a different answer for me.
But I would go because I play Raspberry Beret more. I'd
Yeah.
say Raspberry Beret.
I agree.
But if somebody says tie, I won't be mad at you
I agree.
because I'm leaning towards tie myself.
Then we've got Michael Jackson's Thriller out of 84. And that is versus. Oh, they got to show the whole dance. A Prince Bat Dance, 1989.
Thriller. So Bat Dance is a couple of songs he did for the Batman soundtrack.
Yeah, the Batman the movie.
Apparently, I think he did the Batman soundtrack.
He did all of it, yeah. He did all of the music.
That's not the song I'd have picked for to go against that. It's another song. It's God, I don't know the song, but it's another song where he pretends to be the Joker when the Joker's in the
Asylum?
He's in the museum.
Okay.
And he's in the museum and
he's breaking the stuff?
Yeah, and he put on the laughing gas
Yeah.
mask for everybody else.
Yeah.
There's a
song he did for that.
Song he did for that video.
I think they paired it because there's a literal dance to this, just like how Thriller had a whole dance break.
Yeah.
Bat Dance has a whole dance break.
Oh.
So I think that's why they did that.
Well, yeah, I'd have picked the other Party Man.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
Yeah, Party Man. I'd have picked Party Man. I think it's called Party Man. Anywho, yeah.
I know he says Party Man, but there's not a dance to that like Bat Dance. I think they were trying to compare it.
Okay.
Like how Thriller has a full breakdown in a dance, Bat Dance has that.
Well,
too.
he picked a horrible song.
He did because I had no idea what this was.
Yeah, Thriller.
Then we have Michael Jackson, "Wanna Be Starting Something" out of 83. I didn't realize that was also on his Thriller album.
Yeah, Thriller had
everything apparently.
Damn near every hit.
And then that is versus Prince and the Revolution, "Let's Go Crazy." It's "Let's Go Crazy" for me.
Let's Go Crazy.
Yeah.
But if somebody says tie, I understand.
I agree. We have Michael Jackson, "The Way You Make Me Feel," which, as an adult watching the music video, I know you kept saying stalker. I'm like, hey, it's not that bad. It is. It is that bad.
And he got gang members to stalk. First of all, it's her fault for walking down alleyways and dark alleys.
It's not
so that's her fault. That's her fault.
It is not her fault. She got kicked out of car, first of all. Okay, so then...
She started wandering around dark alleys? Like she didn't want to get stalked?
Like she didn't want to be stalked?
And then again, if you see a light-skinned motherfucker with curly hair following you, you're not scared.
She was like, okay.
This might be...
Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Who's giving me directions? Because, all right, and that was versus Prince and the Revolution, "Kiss."
It's Kiss.
Oh, really? Definitely thought you were going to say the other one.
Other one what?
"The Way You Make Me Feel."
No, it's not even close. It's Kiss.
Okay. Interesting.
That's what I said.
I agree.
That's what I said. According to what Michael Jackson songs he picks against the Prince songs.
Okay, for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Oh, and then we have "Human Nature," Michael Jackson, "Human Nature."
It's Human Nature. You know.
Versus
Diamonds and Pearls.
Diamonds and Pearls. I like Diamonds and Pearls.
I'm sorry. It's Human Nature.
Boy or girl?
I'm sorry. It's Human Nature.
Okay.
I don't care where it comes on at. It could come on in the middle of the street. I will stop and listen.
Here's why Diamonds and Pearls is special to me. There's a I think it's a clip. I don't know if somebody recorded his full session or not, but he's playing live. And I think it's out of his place in Minnesota. So he's got an audience there listening to him play. He passes the mic out for people to sing the chorus for this song. And it gets to this lady and she blows. She like belts it. And she's amazing. She's like an amazing singer. He gets shocked. And then he just starts guitar riffing and she starts singing hard. It's amazing. It's an amazing clip. It's on YouTube. It's great. Because he was not expecting that when they were passing the mic around. And she was singing. So for me, it is Diamonds and Pearls.
First of all, Human Nature taught me the perfect pitch for my falsettos.
Falsettos?
Falsettos, yeah.
Don't even know what they are.
All
right, then we got
things, man.
Michael Jackson, "Man in the Mirror." And that is versus Prince and the Revolution, "Sign of the Times." Oh, okay.
Times? Yeah.
Okay.
Woke up in
Yep.
I gotta hear the song.
Me too, because they play a different clip. I was like, I don't know.
I gotta hear the song and I can sing the lyrics.
Yes.
I'm
gonna go with "Sign of the Times" because "Man in the Mirror" scared me as a little kid.
"Man in the Mirror" only scared me. It's "Man in the Mirror" for me because that's the bigger song.
Okay.
"Man in the Mirror" only scared me because I was a kid and then they paired up with the Thriller
video.
Okay.
And
I
you
don't
were
know
like,
what I was watching. I was watching some of this show, like the videos, Michael Jackson videos, and they paired that Thriller with Man in the Mirror,
mm-hmm.
and it just tormented me as a kid. And then my Aunt Julie's house was very quiet and old, and just pictures of Jesus everywhere, and it looked like he's looking at you.
Okay. Her house isn't
And
even
then
that
also,
big.
I think we watched Jason or something like that,
Oh,
or Freddy Krueger or
gosh.
something.
Okay.
So I was extra terrified. I was scared to go back in the house by myself.
Okay. I was
So.
extra scared.
Yeah, so it was a lot of stuff going on that day. A lot.
Interesting. Okay, so yep, that's how we ended that. Basically a tie. Basically.
Yeah.
Okay. In other Dad Happened news, Sean Diddy Combs has pled not guilty to human trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution following his arrest in September. Apparently, the way he was received in court shocked a lot of people. They're not allowing court like cameras to be there, so you can't take a picture. So it's all what the artists have drawn,
Mhm.
and apparently all his hair is gray now. I don't.
Yeah.
To me, that makes sense. He doesn't have the opportunity to dye it like he probably would have.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Y'all know Puffy's like in his 50s, right?
Yeah, he's almost in his 60s. Yeah,
Yeah. He don't have the
luxuries
the
anymore.
Beijing inside the jail.
I guess they're trying to say that like it's adding like how stark of a contrast it is now from him being like almost untouchable to now like a frail old man in jail.
Sure. You don't get to eat the good food when you're in jail. That's why.
The great, the good.
Yeah. I think he's getting off.
Okay.
I don't know why.
You think all charges, or you think just the biggest ones?
The biggest ones.
I think they're gonna get him on racketeering.
Yeah. I think that's the only thing they didn't get him on.
Okay.
Because there's no way him and his attorney going in and plead not guilty after pretty much they said they got him on tape trying to like intimidate people and all doing all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So if you got all that on tape, all that evidence, to come in and say not guilty with all that stuff, I don't know.
I think they probably got to try. You know what I mean?
Also, then again, he might have something. He might know something we don't know. He might be turning over a bigger fish. Who knows?
Yikes. Okay. Well,
Who knows?
on the flip side of all of that being crazy, I came across something on Instagram, and it went mad. It went mad viral. There was a young lady who was going through her grandmother's stuff. Her grandmother had recently passed, and she was looking at the different stuff in her bag. She came across this business card, and on the business card it says Dr. Dan, expert, plain and fancy fucking, evenings by appointment only, is what it says. And then like in the top left-hand corner, it says virgins treated gently, spinsters satisfied. And then in the top right-hand corner, it says extra attention given to neglected married women. In the bottom left corner, it says cut rate to party of 6 or more, satisfaction with 1 hard-on. Okay. And then in the bottom right, it says widows a specialty. And then there's a price list on the back of this card. You want me to read the price list to you?
No.
I'm gonna. So we have plain insertion. That's a nice $20. You've got with caresses of that. That's an additional $27. Okay. Inverted positions. That's $22.50. $22.50. Dog fashion. $22.50. Dog fashion with barking and yelping. That's going to cost you $25. Okay. If you want all of that. Womb stretch. A womb stretch. $39.25. Then you've got a tongue bath. That is going to cost you $50. Okay. You're going to have to ante up for that. A muff dive. $100. Okay. Okay.
It means she's eating ass.
Muff is not ass.
What is it?
Vagina.
She's eating ass and vagina.
Maybe. But your muff is 70s slang for your vagina because they didn't shave back then. It was fur.
She's eating hairy ass. That's crazy.
There's time limits. There's a time limit section per hour, $37.50. All night, meaning 12 hours, that's going to cost you $150. Okay. Extra attention is another subsection. Titty chewing, a nice $1.15.
Who the fuck is chewing titties?
French kissing on the mouth. That's $2.75. Okay.
Well, you just caught something.
Pussy, see muff dive. French tickler. That's going to be $3.25.
We get it.
A finger diddle.
He's a hoe.
$9.50.
I get it.
Vaseline, if needed, is an extra $1.25. Here's what I will say. I respect the business practice. And the lady shows pictures of the card she found, and that card is taped up. Like, her grandmother wanted to make sure she had this card intact when she needed it. Dr. Dan was doing it. He was doing the damn thing, apparently, back in the day.
Whatever.
I love the prices. That was my favorite part.
Sounds like
My favorite part were the prices.
Sounds like Dr. Dan might have had a day job, too.
It's the fact that some of these prices come with cents. That it's like 75 cents, 50 cents. What is happening?
Quarters were valuable back then. I don't have to tell you. Very valuable. Very valuable. Everybody had a penny jar.
I guess so.
I mean, piggy bank. Everybody had a piggy bank.
I guess so. It was a highlight. It went viral. Everybody's talking about Dr. Dan. He was doing the damn thing. Clearly, there's some speculation on the ethnicity of Dr. Dan. I think we all know what he is. But if some people need to hold a certain truth for themselves, that's fine too. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got for that happened with Joe.
That happened with Joe's sex relations.
That's gonna cost you a nice $39.50.
Sex consultations. The whole nine.
I feel like we ran the gamut there. I started it off with a good word. Then we went into some music.
The fact that you put Jesus at the beginning of this is insane. That's insanity. That's insanity.
It's not insane.
That's such blasphemy.
It's not insane.
I don't like how my week is gonna go now after doing this. I really don't. I'm gonna have to pray about it. Are
you gonna pray like our friend? Jesus Christ.
No, I'm gonna pray to Jesus nice and calmly and softly. Jesus don't need nobody else to yell at him right now. I think his ears is hurting because we've been all yelling. So just gonna talk to him in a normal voice.
You said talk to him in a normal voice.
Start on 90 Day Fiance, Last Resort.
Are you want to do Beauty in Black real quick?
Oh yeah, Beauty in Black.
Beauty in the Black, the last half of the Tyler Perry drama, dropped on Netflix the week prior. I finally watched all of it. It's a roller coaster because, of course, it's Tyler Perry. So, in case you don't remember, Beauty in Black is the story about this young. At first, we think it's a story about this young lady who's trying to get out of the sex worker life, and she kind of idolizes this other woman who seems to be running her own hair care business, Mallory. Then we find out Mallory is actually a thug. She is married into a very wealthy Black family, and they are cutthroat, and all they care about is their bottom line in business and how much money they can keep for themselves. That's their whole thing. They are all viciously pitted against each other regularly for money and power on a regular basis. Horace, who is one of the heads of that family, he's actually the father to Mallory's husband. There we go. Trying to get all these words together. Horace has his own stuff that's going on. Horace is slowly dying. He has something. I don't remember what they told us. Throat, lung, something. He's coughing up blood. And he only has a certain amount of time left. He figures now that he only has like months to maybe a year left, he's finally going to live his life in his own terms. Still in secret, still on the down low. Horace is gay. He goes to his local strip club where we see our main girl, Kimmy. And he gets introduced to Kimmy. And through Kimmy, he's like, okay, I want to tentatively kind of live my best life as a gay man. How can you hook me up with this other dude I'm staring at and crushing on, this guy named Angel? Kimmy and Angel go way back. Angel actually got Kimmy into all of this mess in the first place. Kimmy got kicked out of her house. She became best friends with a woman named Rain. Rain was dating Angel at this time, and he was going to make them all money. He needed them to be drug mules. He was going to help get them to move some drugs across state lines, but they got caught up by this guy named Jules, who was working with the DEA at the time.
Sounds like to me it all was a setup from the jump.
Which was? What?
The whole mule drug thing for them. They were going to get the drugs regardless.
Okay.
I think the setup was to make them endangered servants.
Okay. You're saying that the broker that Angel was dealing with was actually working for Jules, and he was trying to rub the ball in this anyway.
So you think Jules just happened to bust them on the plane? He knew they were coming.
I mean,
So
yeah, that makes
he
sense.
arrested him. He still gets the drugs.
Yep,
He arrests them. Now they're into his debt because he get them out of jail.
that's true.
So now, I think it was all a setup.
Probably. So they get trapped working for Jules. Jules basically lords over a lot of people who will find themselves in like law enforcement issue situations. He uses his pull to get them out of jail, but they got to work for him, and he gives them basically like a cost of what all that was for him to save them, quote unquote. And they have to work for him until they can pay that back. But the thing is, the goal for that keeps moving. Interest keeps getting added. They basically never leave the life. So all of that is to say, Kimmy starts to help Horace on the side in her hopes to finally get some money to pay off Jules to get out of it. And in doing so, she has to loop in Angel. They do have another friend, Rain. Like I said before, Rain had been dating Angel before he got him all caught up in this thing. Rain basically has been out of commission because she was trying to get these bud injections. She from like an under the table source. Jules's bottom bitch, this girl named Body, was like basically bullying her into getting some body work done, just like she had done. And so she trusts, for whatever dumb reason, Rain trusts this lady Body to get an under the table procedure done. It does not go well, and she almost dies in the process. And so she's been like laid up in a county hospital for a minute. But the hospital she's in is not taking care of her. Whether that's because Jules is ordering that or what, we don't know. But she's not being taken care of, and she's almost dying again. So to help her friend, Kimmy decides to really help Horace in his venture to like dibble dabble as a gay man with Angel. Angel, unfortunately, who is not gay, is kind of stuck. Like he needs the money, so he agrees with Kimmy to do it. But he also kind of wants to see if he can get over on Horace. He tries to steal his watch. He tries to set this dude up to get robbed. None of this works. None of it works at all because they're dumb as hell. But it also turns out that Horace is a mean son of a bitch. So he peeps game that they're up to something. And then when they get caught up, especially during the robbery, he really lets his gangster flag fly by killing everybody in the room except for Kimmy and Angel. But Kimmy's under the impression that Horace has been in on the Jules setup this entire time. But the reality is Horace has had no idea that Jules, who works for him as his security guard, even has this side business. And then he finds out that it's not just Jules that has this side sex worker business. It's his brother. He has an older brother.
Who is a judge, by the way, a former judge.
Right. So he's like, Horace is like, his interest is piqued. Not because he wants to do the right thing and stop everybody, but he wants to see how far down the rabbit hole his brother has pushed all of this because he hates his brother. So
a psychotic ex-judge.
So meanwhile, his brother is going through his own things because Mallory and her husband have accidentally killed his wife in the first opening scenes of the drama. And he's trying to figure out who killed his wife because he has no idea. He doesn't know that it's Mallory and her husband.
So apparently his wife liked to go running at night. She runs
in the rain for some reason.
In the rain, on the family property.
On the private drive, yes.
She gets hit by Mallory. Then the son comes. Mallory leaves her in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And then the son comes through and runs her over as well. Puts her in the back of the car. Thinks she dead.
Yep. They go to dump the body. Surprise, surprise. She's alive.
But just like the dude in the Crypt Keeper movie, Thanks for the Ride Lady, she has 9 lives.
This poor woman survived. Then they dump her body in what was that place? Like a car impound place or something?
Yeah, car impound place.
And she's still alive. Her husband reports her missing. The police actually find her. She's barely clinging to life, but she is alive. So then she's in a hospital, basically in a coma, a medically induced coma because of all of the trauma that has happened to this woman's body.
They try to kill her while she's in there.
They do. They kill her. They kill her. So, and then the husband goes on the rampage. I forget what his name is.
He tries to move her from that hospital to another hospital without anybody knowing. The doctor's like, look, if we try to move her, she can die.
No, but the nurse had already did her due diligence, remember? She already injected the stuff into the IV.
But he didn't know that.
No, he did, because remember he was talking to that nurse, and they were like, "What nurse?" And then that's when he wanted to move her.
Okay, so
But they were like, her vitals are already going down.
yeah, if we move her, she could die.
Right.
He gets in an ambulance, moves her. She dies in ambulance. He gets mad and kills everybody in the ambulance in broad daylight on the street and walks off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now he went on a killing spree now.
Basically.
That's pretty much all it is.
Basically. So now his wife is gone, and he's like, I gotta get my revenge. He is 110% sure that it's one of his nephews. He's 110% sure.
He is correct, by the way.
And then he decides to focus in on one nephew in particular, a nephew named Charles. Charles happens to be gay. He happens to be living his best life as a gay, kind of his best life as this gay guy, and it drives his uncle crazy. Like, he can't stand him because he's gay. So he decides Charles is the one who did it. And in our cliffhanger for the first part of this, it looks like he set it up so that Charles gets shot up in his car on his way home. But there's another twist because it's Tyler Perry. So when we pick up, we find out that the body in that car that got shot up to smithereens is not Charles. It's one of the dancers from the club.
I was correct.
The setup to that was that this was one of the guys that was actually set up to do the robbery with Angel for Horace.
But didn't show up because he was too busy robbing Charles.
Yes. He robbed Charles of his wallet and his watch and then stole his car. But then I also don't know why he was driving. They tried to explain why he was driving on the private road. They were going to go to Charles's house and rob the house too, supposedly. Whatever. It was crazy. So he dies and Charles is still alive. And then, but we also find out in this short moment of people thinking that Charles is dead, that one, Horace could care less if his son is dead. But two, the mother cares deeply, and she's like, I'm the real gangster, and the second half is all about how she is the gangster. She the real one not to play with.
Apparently, the mom is also a professional knife thrower as well. She's a ninja, or she has some type of special forces background.
Something. Olivia Bellery.
She is. Everybody's in the show is crazy.
Yeah, and they're getting crazier by the minute. So, but we find out Olivia is also just as much of a gangster and a thug as everybody else in this family. Olivia is fucking some young other gangster dude who actually set up the robbery for Horace from the first part of this season. But it failed. And because it failed, she's like, you gotta go. She tells this dude, you know what it means now. And he's like, please, I can make it up to you. We can do something else. And she's like, I don't want to hear it. You know what you got to do? Get in the bag. I don't know if you watched this part.
No.
So she has two of her butlers, I guess, come in with a body bag. Mm-hmm. And they're like, she's like, get in the bag. And they hand him the body bag. And he gets in the bag. Like he drops it to the ground so he can step into it and pulls the bag up over his head. And then one of the butlers points his gun down into the bag and shoots him. And he falls to the floor. I would think stuff would still spill out onto the floor, but that's how they set it up.
Okay.
But the point was, she set up something to try to kill Horace, and it didn't work. Back to the Jules situation. So then, we still have Jules's workers, too. There's also a lady named Jillian, who's Mallory's assistant. And she was dating Calvin, not like my Calvin, who also was a sex worker for Jules.
I hope not.
And that Calvin, for whatever reason, is running hard game on Mallory and trying to be like her everything. He's like, I'll fuck you right. I'll be whatever you need me. I'll drive you your places. I'll do whatever you need me to do. I know it's going to be what it is, but I'm going to be the one for you, basically. And he flirts hard with her. And it throws her off, but she's also intrigued. So we'll see where that goes. But her husband kind of figures out that Mallory is sleeping with somebody. He just doesn't know who it is. At first, so his name is Roy. At first, he thinks it is Calvin. But when Calvin hits on him, he's like, no, it's not Calvin. He's gay.
You can tell somebody's not really gay. I think he just hates gay people. And
I
he
guess.
just got thrown off. That's what I think.
My
own opinion.
So then he thinks, oh, it's Varney, who's their lawyer. He's like the family lawyer. He's like, oh, it's got to be Varney. Varney is actually gay.
Varney is the big gay guy.
Varney is dating Charles.
The big shaka rocka gay guy.
Varney wants Charles to be in a monogamous relationship with him before he says anything. Charles doesn't want that, but Charles wants him to be out just like he is, but he wants to be able to have an open relationship. And that's not what Varney wants. It's a whole thing that's happening over there. But Charles is also a wreck. He's a mess. Norman is the brother that we've been talking about who's trying to kill everybody. Him and Jules are working hand in hand with the sex worker situation. And he's not focused on the fact that Horace is asking questions because his wife had died. But once he realizes that Charles did not kill his wife, he's like, oh no, I gotta pay attention now to what's happening. Jules tells Norman that Horace is starting to talk to the judge that they had looped in with all of their stuff to get these people basically entrapped by them. Which is true. So Horace talks to that judge and he's trying to get more information about how this whole business started and what exactly he did. And he gets a lot of answers, but he also threatens this man's life and like stabs him through the hand for wasting his time. It's crazy.
Also, Jules is pretty much seems like he's playing the whole family, if you ask me. He knows all the dirt on the whole family. Norman doesn't know that he knows that, yes, one of the kids killed your wife.
It was family that did it, yeah.
It was family that did it.
Because it's not one, it's two. But yeah.
And he's not letting Norman know who did it. I think Norman knows he knows who did it.
Mm-hmm.
But Norman's like, I'm going to wait to kill you probably later after I get the family. I don't know. It seems like a family is pretty much going to kill themselves. That's
definitely where it's headed for sure.
So I guess the town doesn't have to do anything. It seems like them kill each other.
There's so many storylines happening at the same time. We also have Roy, Mallory's husband, Horace's son, who is going through it. Like on the one hand, he is like really dealing with the trauma of the fact that like he's not in a loving family. And it looks like he really wants that. He really wanted to be a part of a loving family, but he did not have that. There's a whole thing that he's got set up with Kimmy where he had Jules pick a girl for him specifically that he could like humiliate and degrade and get his rocks off with. And that happens to be Kimmy. And Kimmy has tried to set him up several times to get him in trouble with Mallory, which is to her own detriment because now Mallory is like, who is he messing with? Mallory and Roy have a very crazy dynamic in that they can't divorce each other because they need each other to continue to get the power that they have. But they also hate each other. But they also don't want the other person finding any happiness outside of their relationship. It is the most craziest thing ever. Anyway.
Also, you got Kimmy, who has a whole thing going on.
Her storyline.
I guess they focus more on her in the second season?
It's not the second season. This is the first season. This is the first season.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is just the second half of the first season.
Second half of the first season, I think they focus more on her.
They focused on her in the first half of the season. She was our eyes for the have-nots, basically, like the poors.
So, Kimmy has a whole thing going on now where I guess to get her in line, they went after her younger sister or something?
Yeah, Kimmy's been pushing the envelope and like testing Jules and Body. Body is his bottom bitch. And I think Dorinda. Yeah, Dorinda's the other one. She's been testing all of them because she doesn't fall in line, quote unquote, the way they want her to. She's supposed to dance when they say dance, have sex with whoever they want her to have sex with, and give him money. That's what they want her to do. But she's been trying to do other stuff to get out of it. And it's very much implied that she's special, that she doesn't think like the other people, that she's actually very smart, and that she actually has a heart. So like that's how they're kind of positioning her. And then we see that further elaborated when they take her sister. So they take her sister to prove a point to her, and she loses it. So the only thing that lost me in the second half is that we're supposed to believe that she goes from being completely reactionary to most of the events that are happening to her to being like caustic, to being like, I don't care anymore. I'm the one that's now doing the events. She's like, where's my sister? She's killing anybody who could tell her where her sister is because they're trying to paint that she no longer has the patience. She's hit her limit, basically.
She ran over Body with a car.
Yes.
She goes to the other bottom,
Dorinda's
house, and pretty much blows her head off with a shotgun.
Yeah, that pretty much she does it.
Well, yeah. And,
She's just on like they're trying to show her like on a rampage. If you don't answer her in the first 2 seconds, she's ending your life.
she's pretty much Norman now.
Yes, she doesn't care. Olivia. She's supposed to be the new Olivia, the mother of the group.
Okay, she went from being like Norman a little bit to Olivia.
No, definitely both. Maybe probably both. Probably both. Like they're positioning Olivia to be like the smart one. She's the one that's thinking. She's basically kind of like Mallory,
Mhm.
but better than Mallory
Mhm.
because Mallory has her own stuff that she's dealing with. They're kind of positioning her like that. But anyway,
So
so Kimmy is trying to find her sister because her sister's getting roped into being a sex worker for Jules, and she doesn't want that to happen at all costs. But the story is crazy because we've been led to believe that Kimmy getting kicked out of her house and becoming a sex worker the way that she has, we're all in an effort to protect her sister. But then we find out it didn't protect anything. Her sister was being raped by their stepfather anyway. And by the time Kimmy has found her, she's already been sexually assaulted and physically abused. So she hasn't saved her sister from anything. And then there was a dead body in the back of that car. That was hilarious. Oh, you haven't seen that part either. There's a whole part in there where she finally finds her sister. And she's trying to drive her sister to the hospital because her sister was drugged. And her sister sees this guy looking at her in the backseat of the car. And she's like, there's a man looking at me. And Kimmy's like, you're on the drugs. There's no guy back there. Calm down. She's like, there is a man looking at me. Stop the car. I need to get out the car. She's like, there's nobody in there. We're almost at the hospital. Calm down. I promise you, there's no man. You're on drugs. And she's like, I'm not imagining this. Get me out of this car. He's dead. He's dead. He's looking at me and he's dead. And she's like, there's nobody in there. And then she finally looks behind her and she's like, oh no. Kimmy stole a car at some point in all of the rampaging. Jules finally caught up to her after the Dorinda thing and the body thing. And she, do you remember who Officer Traxon is?
sure.
You know how he has cops on his
Yeah,
payroll, whatever?
yeah.
The black guy's name is Officer Traxon. He finally finds Kimmy because her and Angel had been on the run. So he finally finds Kimmy and he goes to take her in and she crashes the car to get out of it, which was smart. She buckles in her seatbelt and he goes, why do you care about your seatbelt now? And then she starts wailing his head against the steering wheel and like trying to get out the car. It flips the car. They get out. Some white lady sees the accident and she pulls over and she's like, are you okay? And Kimmy goes, I don't know that we're okay. You know, we flipped the car and the lady's like, oh my gosh, I'll call 911. She's like, yeah, call 911. And then she steals that lady's car. And apparently there's a guy in the back of the car. Kimmy's like, yeah, whatever.
So the lady kills somebody.
No, almost, but no. So they get to the hospital. She gets her sister taken care of. It happens to be the same hospital that Horace is at. She went to the private hospital, also where Rain is at. Everybody's now in the same place. Angel's like watching the news, and the news is talking about how this frantic woman who stopped at the scene of an accident is, freaking out because her father-in-law was in her car. He's a vegetable. He's not reactionary at all, and he was very sick. And apparently, herself, that lady, and the guy that was in the back of that car, they're part of another crime family. So that's happening.
So now there's gonna be a beef between the two families.
More than likely. They don't go too much into detail with it. There's at the very end, Angel's like, we got to get rid of the car to Kimmy. There's a dead body in that car. And Kimmy goes, yeah, I know. And so he goes, I'm going to move that car because she had parked at the hospital. So when he goes down to get the car, the hospital security catches him. And they're like, we're just waiting to see who's going to come back to the car. And they take him away. And they leave us on that cliffhanger. He can't get pinned with it, but whatever. The other thing that happens is that Horace finally puts together that one, Kimmy and Angel, while they're working for Jules, they're not in cahoots with Jules or Norman. But they believed that Horace was, and he explains that he was not. He was not in cahoots with them at all either. And as a matter of fact, he'll help them. He'll help them get out from under them. And he, true to his word, he does. He gets them out from Jules and Norman's work. But something bad happens right afterwards. Like after Horace makes his grand entrance in to tell Jules that they got to stop, he freezes and just stops listening, stops reacting. And then he just gets up and he walks away. But when he walks away, you see that he peed himself. He wet himself. And it turns out he had a stroke. But he played it off like nothing was wrong. So he goes to his private hospital. Kimmy's there. Rain's there. Angel's there. Her sister is there. Rain tells Kimmy she's got to talk to Horace. Horace helped them out. He helped get Rain and Angel and herself out from the business. He also helped her save her sister. So she's like, you need to talk to Horace. You need to see, at least to thank him for everything that just happened. And Kimmy's like, fine. She goes to talk to Horace, and Horace goes, listen, everything that you guys have been through is fucked up. I know that. And I also know my family. There's a lot of stipulations to his father's will about who gets what money. And he wants to make sure his sons don't get his money because he's going to die pretty soon. So he's like, I've got a plan. And I need you to go along with this plan so that, my family doesn't get my shares, doesn't get my money, and my sons don't get my money. And then in an effort of all of that, you'll also get a little bit of revenge because he knows about her and Roy. She also pushed Roy out a window at some point.
Who the hell is Roy?
Roy is his eldest son, the guy that was degrading her. Remember, he would call her to the hotel?
Yeah.
That's Roy.
Okay. So Roy's dead.
We thought he was dead. She pushed him out of I think they were on the top floor of the hotel, but he just fell into the balcony below. So he's hurt, but he's not dead.
Oh, God. This family's indestructible.
But almost. And now Mallory knows that a girl named Kimmy is sleeping with Roy, and she wants to end her life. So the family finds out Horace is in the hospital. This is at the same time the Horace is explaining to Kimmy what his plan is. Then we see press show up with cameras, and a judge shows up who's not attached to the family. It's some random other judge that shows up. Horace's big plan is to marry Kimmy. He's going to marry Kimmy, make her his wife, and make her the head of the business for Beauty in Black. Dun, dun, dun. That's Beauty in the Black. And that's how it ends.
Shit sounds like a horrible car accident.
It's a lot. And it's fun. It's fun. So I'm interested in finding out what's going to go on between Calvin and Jillian. Jillian is the assistant to Mallory. And Calvin, for whatever reason, is really mad at Jillian for sleeping with Roy, even though she did not have a choice. She did not have a choice to sleep with Roy.
But didn't he sleep with Mallory?
Yes.
Okay, then I don't understand the problem.
He feels that she should have not done it. The logic isn't logicking.
All these hoes, these men with women tendencies is getting on my nerves.
It's very,
even in TV shows.
Basically, it's to the point where like him and Jillian are she's just like, I don't know what happened or why you're so mad at me or why you're going about this, but I'm going to end you and I can do it. And they haven't really shown us what she's going to do or what exactly she can do.
She's going to tell Roy that
she tried that already. It didn't work.
But she's going to videotape it.
Maybe.
Anywho, sounds like a lot.
It's a lot, but it's so fun. Highly recommend. Highly recommend.
Now moving on to 90 Day Fiance Last Resort,
which is still on for some reason.
Still seems like it's 2 or 3 more episodes. I don't know how. Starting with Jasmine and Gino.
Okay.
You get up with Jasmine, ugly crying in the parking lot. I was just trying to save my marriage. So Julia then goes to try to grab Gino and talk to Gino and be like, look, she's not cheating on you. She's just trying to come up with an
arrangement, basically.
Arrangement to save your marriage.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was looking for the word. And that's all she's trying to do. She's just trying to save your marriage. She hasn't cheated on you.
Right.
So then the night ends with all the girls pretty much upset and angry. All the girls get in one van, and Julia and all the guys get in another van.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much Julia tells Gino, I met the guy. We called him online. He has lots of muscles. He has big muscles. Lots of muscles.
She was going in about how good he looked.
He's got lots of muscles.
Josh goes, more muscles than me? Of course, Josh.
Yes, more muscles than you, Josh.
Shut up, Josh.
More muscles than you. And then on the girls' van, everybody's trying to get around Jasmine, ugly crying in
That's later.
Stacy's lap.
That's later though. That wasn't at that first one.
That's a whole nother time?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. And that's pretty much. Also, they do like a group counseling session, and pretty much Gino pretty much pretends like he's more open to the idea of her possibly bringing in a guy to the relationship. Jasmine goes,
and then go psych.
Jasmine goes, that's kind of odd when you was like vehemently, I can't, these fucking shit's off. Didn't want to do it in the beginning.
Right,
now
aggressively.
Now you want to kind of do it. And then I guess I was just playing.
Gino kept saying how, like, it was very interesting to me how, like, the physical part of it, like, he believed Jasmine didn't physically do anything with this guy, but he was upset about the emotional connection. He was like, that's worse. That's absolutely worse.
But you opened the door for that emotional connection to happen.
So if you watch I think it's called In Between the Sheets, which is like the follow-up for the episode, they have like counselor insight on what's going on. The sex therapist goes, like, she's like, it's logical. It makes sense that he would be upset, being confronted with that information. But at the same time, he created this situation. You have somebody who wants to be physically intimate with you. You keep telling them no. It's a matter of time before they find it somewhere else. Everybody has told that to Gino on this trip as well.
But that's not going to happen because I think she truly does love me.
Also, he's like, we were doing so good. What, last couple of hours?
She had yelled at me for like 20 minutes. So
You keep saying how, like, she's not doing what you need her to do, and then all of a sudden you guys were doing good? What is it? It's so crazy.
All of the above.
You want to talk about Stacey and Florian?
Stacey's still on this kick that Florian is terrible because he walked some girl home who was drunk and lives in their building. Oh my God, I slept it. And who lives in their building. And it's very clear that they they didn't have a storyline. And she was like, I need to think of a storyline. This is going to be that storyline. This is what it's going to be. It's going to be this. And it's just her going in on Florian about how, like, how dare you be nice to these strangers that you meet? You need to be nice to me. She redirects it that, like, she basically is saying that Florian's not spending time with her. He's trying to spend time outside of the home. But I don't even think that that's true.
Also, she's saying that he doesn't prioritize her or take care of her like he prioritizes everybody else or take care of everybody else. But she had one of her many thousands of surgeries. He didn't.
She's like, he decided to still go out.
Yeah, he didn't spend time to make sure she was already feeling good. So it's very confusing.
I found it interesting that the only licensed counselor here points out that Florian has not had to basically do anything for himself. Stacey is quick to get in there and take care of it for him. Whatever little bit of crumbs he gives her, she takes it, and not only takes it, like, thanks him for it. So this turnaround that he's not doing enough for her, he hasn't had to. She doesn't follow through with any of that. What would he do? But as somebody who's watched the Darcy and Stacey shows, she also did not allow Florian to do a lot of stuff for himself. When he wanted to do stuff for himself, like work, do other things for himself, she kept telling him no, that he had to do it through her. He had to do it her way.
Because she didn't trust him because he cheated.
That's what she alleges. That's what she alleges for sure. Because allegedly, Florian started out modeling and then hooked up with another model. And then when he tries to get back into modeling, I laughed out loud because they were basically like, you're not a model, not in model shape. It was hilarious. Anyway, but yeah, watching it from Florian's point of view, he looks bewildered and confused. He doesn't know where any of this is coming from. And he's like, whatever, I'll just write it out. Sure. Yeah.
So also at the group therapy session, they ask, tell us one thing that you are what? Like
you love. Or trust. What do you trust?
About them. And Florian says everything. And they go, what do you mean everything? He goes, everything. I trust everything. They say everything. He's like, yeah, I trust Stacey with everything. Then in between the sheets, the counselor comes back and said, I wish I would have pressed him on it because that's a lie. He couldn't even come up with one thing. And I'm like, some people, it could be like, everything. They could just.
I guess what she meant, though, was like, the answer he was giving, they could have pressed him to go into it a little bit deeper into what he actually was feeling, what he was saying, and they didn't. And that's when she also noticed that, like, when he was saying what he was saying, Stacy started filling in the blanks for him. And she was like, I would have pressed more watching this back.
Moving on to Sophie and Rob. Pretty much after the
Rob hates women.
outing, for some reason, Julia stays in Rob's and Sophie's room.
Yeah.
So they wake up to
Not for some reason. Brandon kicked her out.
so they wake up to Julia opening up all the curtains and pretty much like, "Mommy, Daddy, get up! It's time to get up."
She's like, "Good morning. Did you miss me?" she jumps
Sits
in
up, Mommy,
between
Daddy.
them.
And pretty much it's them talking about her situation with Rob.
Yeah.
Pretty much what she's going to do. She says, pretty much if it breaks up, I'm going back to Russia because I have nothing here.
Yeah.
I just go back and start my life there.
Yep. Go back to my family, back to my friends. Yep.
And they go, okay.
I mean, it's a good plan. It's a
Josh
great plan.
and Natalie, right quick. Nothing.
No, Josh had his session where he talks about how he has issues with commitment. Because Natalie wanted to know, like, after them being whatever they are for 3 years, how come she still hasn't seen his home? And he was like, I just have issues with commitment.
Like I said, nothing. Turns out he might have a younger version of Natalie at his actual house.
As with the titled girlfriend. Rocking the title of girlfriend. But apparently also it might be an open relationship where he's still doing what he wants to do.
So
Who knows? Josh sucks.
Going back to and finishing with Julie and Brandon.
Yeah. Brandon is really in his feels that Julia wants to bring her family to America. He feels away. He's like, she did not get my approval to do this. And
apparently they argue all the time, he says. Who knows how true that is?
I'm sure it is true. I'm sure it is true. He's coming from his parents who really love each other. As toxic and chaotic as that is with those two, they do love each other. So he sees a relationship through that perspective. So when he meets Julia's parents who are divorced and he sees them fight and bicker the way that they do, he's like, this doesn't make sense to me. And I don't like it. And I don't want it.
So they all at the group session as well. And they ask him, what do you trust? And Brandon says, I trust Julia to take care of family, do whatever with you.
Mm-hmm.
Julia says she trusts Brandon driving.
Basically, she trusts him with her life, yeah.
With her life, whatever. So then Brandon's like, I don't know if we can fix this or whatever.
Yeah, because he was threatening to leave.
So finally he says the only way we can fix this if she tries to have a second opinion about her fertility. And she says, yes, I will. Mm-hmm. And now he's happy again and crying. But these are happy tears. And look like they're going to make it, I guess.
I'm of the personal opinion that Julia could do better. She could find somebody more that's on the same page as her, because I want to say she was 19 when she met him, and they got formally married at when she was 20, 21. He was young too, but I think ultimately they have two totally different ideas of what they want for their families moving forward. Completely different ideas.
And that's the show called 90 Day Fiance Last Resort.
And for whatever reason, there's going to be another episode.
Okay.
Do you remember the preview was?
Josh and Natalie getting into it. Mm-hmm. He says he loves her, but Natalie walks away. Mm-hmm. But then Natalie watches it on between the sheets and goes, he said he loved me. I guess at the time she didn't hear it.
I guess so.
I think that's the only thing they kind of showed.
Okay.
Oh, I think Stacy and Darcy get into it.
Okay, probably.
And I think that's the only thing they kind of show.
Why are there more episodes? Anywho.
Moving to 90 Day Fiance.
Yes.
I don't know what season this is.
11?
Season 11 episode, I want to say 6.
Okay.
We start with Ani, Matt, and Amani.
You want to start with them? I think we should end with them. They're the juiciest one.
But they really don't have, nothing really happened this episode, really.
Okay.
Pretty much they see each other, they meet each other, they walk on the streets together.
They talk about how they want to merge families. Amani talks about how she has reservations that Matt might be a better partner for Ani and what that could mean. She talks about how they feel fetishized when they tell other people that they're a throuple. Mind you, they tell people unprompted. Nobody's asking.
And people
Nobody's
like,
asking.
We didn't ask for that bullshit.
They're just like, guess what? We're all together. So.
Okay, so you are a horse. Okay, great. Thank you for telling us. We know not to drink behind you guys. Thank
You pointed out, at least in the edit that we watched of the show, Ani is like mostly on Matt and not really on Monty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the previews for next week is Ani telling Amani that Matt initiated sex with her while Amani was asleep, and he's very shy. And Amani looking at her like, okay.
You're dead to me.
It's happening.
You're done.
And then it's Matt's confessional being like, well, all three of us were there, so I thought it would be fine. Which leads me to believe that was their rule. Like, if they're going to have sex, they have to all be present. And technically, they were all present. She was asleep. Amani was asleep, but they were technically all present.
I'm sorry. Ain't no in hell motherfuckers be having sex behind me. And I'm
dead to the world. Not
no.
I don't know that they had sex necessarily like in the same bed as her. You know what I mean?
They're all sleeping in the same bed.
Yeah, but the room is nice. Like there's other furniture. They didn't necessarily have to have sex in the bed.
I don't care where you're having sex at. If you're having sex in the same facility that I'm in. Vicinity, I'm in. I thought I said vicinity.
You said facility.
God.
I like how you're blaming your teeth. And we both know it's not your teeth.
Those are my teeth. Because I try to make certain sounds and it just gets stuck.
Very interesting.
In the same vicinity.
I have a lot of questions about all of this. Because
there's no way, what I'm saying is, no way you have sex in the same vicinity as me. I'm in the same room, and I'm not going to know you're having sex. Unless that was the quietest session ever.
Okay.
Unless they're just humping like quiet people in the corner.
They could have gone to the bathroom.
I don't care.
They could be in a room that has like another room that's got like a side room. You know how like there's like a living room up front and then there's the room in the back?
You're not getting up without me knowing. I don't care. If we're all sleeping in the same bed.
But this is a couple that has kids. I'm sure she's used to a lot of movement on her bed between the kids coming in and out and Matt being the caretaker. I'm sure she's used to him getting up early to do what he's got to do. So him moving around, I don't think if that's what happened, I could see how she wouldn't even clock it.
Okay, sure.
But the point is, they did it. That's the point. and Amani was not aware of it. That's the point. And we're just gonna watch that blow into fire because there's no way this works. There's too many rules that aren't clear. There's not a lot of logistical planning about how they're going to make all of this work the way that they want it to work. And it's very much giving the couple that wants the unicorn and then they don't know what to do after they get it.
The problem is people think they can handle certain situations.
Okay.
But they can't.
Okay.
You know you're overly jealous.
Yeah.
I don't know why you think you can handle that situation.
Right.
Your emotions won't let you.
Well, I guess for her, she's feeling like up until this point, it's been working. Like she's very controlling. So for her, up until this point, everything's been working the way that she's wanted to work it.
But you bring somebody else who is free just like you, that's a recipe for chaos.
I agree.
We're going to talk about a new couple that just came into the fray, Sean and Aaliyah. Pretty much
a new old couple.
Sean and Aaliyah was in 90 Day the Other Way, the last season.
Oh, I thought this was 90 days before the 90 days.
Oh, 90 days before 90 days, the last season they had.
Yeah.
So we pick up with them pretty much.
We pick up in the middle of a fight.
And
they don't go back to that. And we don't go back to that fight.
We go back to the fight.
I was like, did we skip a chapter?
So
because immediately it's Sean going, unacceptable. You left me alone up there in all of that heat.
So then we go back. Apparently, Aaliyah left Sean at the altar.
Yes. The first clip they show us is the day after the wedding date. and it's Sean yelling at Aaliyah for not being there. And then they go back. Then we go back to when she's still in Brazil and making her way to California. And it's, first of all, Aaliyah looks great.
They
First of all.
pretty much show her
She looks gorgeous.
wedding dress shopping.
She's wedding, and it's the cutest wedding dress. She looks beautiful. She's a little worried because she has to go through the visa process, and they've been denied several times prior to this.
For every other visa.
There's an additional worry that because all her legal documentation still shows her dead name and not her new name. And there's concern about Aaliyah having to maybe possibly fake being her old persona or what. Like, a lot of this hinges on her old identity that she is no longer affiliated with. So there's a lot of concern about that. Sean is hoping for the best. Sean gives his whole speech about how he was married to this woman for like 14 years and they had children and a family. And then after they got the divorce is when he decided to live his life as a gay man. And that's when he met.
He noticed every time he would have vagina, it'll make him throw up a little.
You know what? But I wonder if a part of that is not true.
And it's
Because he went 14 years with a woman only to end up with another woman. So maybe there's something about femininity that he likes.
It's just a bad luck of the draw.
I don't think it is. I wonder if there's something about femininity that he's attracted to.
I don't think he knew that whoever was going to change himself to Aaliyah.
Okay, but when he met her, she was already very girly. Like, she was already wearing makeup. And,
he likes the aesthetics.
But wants him to stay a boy.
Yes.
So back to my argument that I think there's something about femininity that he does find attractive.
He likes the softness.
Maybe.
But he like the softness with a hard penis.
That's true. So
Pause.
I keep hitting my mic. But he keeps talking about how like he can't get over the loss of Aaliyah's boy persona. Like it's really a struggle for him to move forward with that. Like, he loves Aaliyah, but it definitely gives the implication that he's not as invested as he was when Aaliyah was a boy.
So Aaliyah goes to the beach, meets her friend, and they're talking to her friend about
her visa process and moving to California.
And possibly having to be her old persona just to get this visa.
Yeah.
So they show her getting ready for the visa process, the next interview the next day.
Mm-hmm.
She gets in the Uber or whatever, gets to the interview, and that's where we leave them at.
Yes. Clearly she makes it because they started off with her in California and getting yelled at by Sean. So I don't know why that was a cliffhanger, but there we are.
Manny and Mark.
Maddie. Who's Manny?
And Mark.
Manny?
Yeah.
M-A-N?
Oh, that's the French chick and the white dude, the old white dude.
Okay. Her name is Manny?
Yeah, her name is like Manny. Oh, I might be saying it wrong.
Okay.
But that's how it's spelled.
Interesting.
And Mark.
Okay.
So, pretty much Mark invites over a lot of his friends to come.
They're all old.
To pretty much welcome Manny to Mia. Her name might be Mina. To the area.
Calvin made a point in the episode prior that she was not going to be happy there because she was looking for a more metropolitan area. And I was arguing that she could still have that, but maybe she just needs to get used to the countryside. But he was right because basically Mark lives in a retirement area.
Literally.
There's
everybody
nothing.
is like either his age or older.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is all these old people coming over? So pretty much his nursing home buddies comes over.
Yes.
And she gets introduced to Martini Pat.
Martini Pat is great.
She comes
over with her own martini, her own martini.
Fresh in her hand. Half a sheet to the wind. She's a half a sheet to the wind.
So happy.
She's not 2 sheets. She's a half a sheet.
So happy. But she also tells Mina exactly what is going on. She's like, listen, you about to be by yourself a lot. He travels a lot. You're going to have to figure out how to make your life here.
You can hang out
and make the most of it.
You can hang out with us. We have martinis.
Yep.
We can knit.
She's like, some crochet, some knit.
Crochet.
Some play the sports. I drink martinis.
Yeah. I get my dog, you get your baby, we put him in strollers and go for walks.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not walking my child with your dog in a stroller. That's not the same thing.
It's demeaning.
It's very
Martini Pat. Too far, Martini Pat.
very disrespectful. But she pretty much tells him, Mark really doesn't make decisions.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable.
A certain way. Yeah.
So
she's like, Mark is a people pleaser. So
you're
gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah, you have to figure it out. And that's pretty much Manny and Mark. But then they go on a hike. They go on a hike, and he pretty much tells her again that
his daughter Jordan is not a fan.
And hopefully his family likes her.
He is terrible at these setups. I'm going to say that. He's terrible at the delivery of this. He's not like Babe. So I want to let you know that they have a lot of questions, but I'm here for you. And we're going to show them that our love is what's going to make this work. He could have said that. Instead, he goes, yeah, they have a lot of qualms about you being here, like maybe just for my money. And they don't think I should have another kid. And then when he's surprised when she goes, I don't know why your family hates me. And he goes, they don't hate you.
Sure they don't. You just told me everything they don't like about me. But I guess that's coincidence.
Right.
And that's where we leave them.
Yes.
Somewhere.
The preview for next week is Jordan, which is Mark's daughter, facing off against, I think her name is Mina. I don't think it's Manny. And
she pretty much showing you're not invited to the wedding. Mahadi and Stevie.
Maddie. Yeah, because remember her dad was like, that's a girl's name.
Oh, Maddie and Stevie.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much Maddie finally gets to the house. He walks in to a death wall
boobs.
Of naked boobs. Paintings of women bodies.
That's not a death wall.
And he's like, there's a lot of titties.
First of all, I actually like her paintings. She has a lot of paintings of the female figure. They're not perverse. They're not grotesque. They're actually very pretty.
So now he's like, she did tell me she likes women.
He's worried, yes.
So maybe she is really bisexual because there is nothing in it.
The way he phrased it, though, makes me feel like that she has a lot of trauma being around men, which is why she doesn't like being around men. He's like, she told me she doesn't like being around men. She doesn't like painting men. She just doesn't like any of the energy that comes with that. And she's more appreciative of like the female form and the female energy. And he's worried that means that she's bisexual and just hasn't told him yet. And he's like, if she tells me that, we're going to break up because yada, yada, blah, blah, blah.
And I'm stuck here.
But from my experiences, that just tells me that she might have a lot of negative history when it comes to being around men. Which would also explain why she's marrying somebody who's not even from her town.
So they go in the room. She shows him his little game room, I guess. A little setup with his little game chair or whatever. Mm-hmm. He likes it. And then all of a sudden this lion.
This beast comes out.
Slowly.
And threatens his life. And it's a house cat.
Sneaks up on him. Like circling her prey.
It is just a regular house cat.
And he goes, oh God. Oh God.
She's filthy.
Don't let her touch me. Don't let her touch me.
That like cats in Iran just live outside. They don't live in the house at all. Which I've heard about for dogs, but I've never heard that for cats.
And they are demons.
But he's like, they're just not clean because they're outside all the time. So he was like, this is going to be a big shift for me because this cat's only in the house. This cat doesn't go outside.
He touches her and then he said, I have to take a shower now.
Basically. And then he's doing his interview with like the producers and the cat purposefully comes up to him and looks at him and then licks itself.
Yeah, I'm licking my balls.
He steps in his shoes and everything.
Lick my balls.
It was hilarious.
I'm gonna lick all your shoes.
It was hysterical.
I'm gonna lick your face one time.
But he also gets hit with the news that he's gonna get the opportunity to meet Stevie's dad. And by the way, Stevie never told her dad about him. So
she
surprise.
Pretty much never told anybody in her family about him. So she's pretty much introducing this guy on a garbage can.
And then she's like, I hope he feels good with my family since he's so homesick. And it's like, you did nothing to make sure that could happen.
Yeah. So the presentation is already messed up.
Yes.
So if they don't like him, it's her fault because the way she presented him.
She's in the deep South with an Iranian man. And one of the first things that they show in the preview for next week is him being asked about a jihad.
And she taken to a bonfire. I don't know why.
Listen. Oh, poor Maddie. Okay.
Greg and Joanne.
Joan.
It's not Joanne?
I thought it was Joanne. It's Joan.
Joan. Okay, Greg and Joan. Let me correct
Joan
that.
is stuck. Joan is trapped. Joan has left a very promising career in Uganda to be homeless.
With a big kid.
This poor woman.
And I don't blame the big kid. I blame her.
I don't like your perspectives like this where it's all or nothing because I don't agree with that
You
sentiment.
talk to somebody, you ask them. I'm pretty sure she had kind of in-depth conversations with him. And I'm assuming he told the truth.
He also told her that it was for a little while. He made it sound like he had a plan. Like she was going to get over there. He was going to get, because remember he had the job that was on the way. He didn't tell her till she got there that he decided not to take the job.
So then I would have asked him, how long have you been living with your mother?
She's not American.
And not,
It's not uncommon for people in her culture to live with their moms,
okay. Well,
even after marriage.
well then, so sad, so bad for her.
So that's so bad.
So pretty much she's there now. She wakes him and her and actually spend the night in the bed together in the same room. They're sitting there talking, and then they hear they hear a lawnmower or weed whacker noise.
Mm-hmm.
He pretty much pulls up the curtain, and his mom is in the backyard cutting the grass.
Yeah, her yard. She's in her yard.
Javon was under the impression that it was his house and his mom was living with him.
Yeah.
And they were paying half rent. Nope, it's his mom's house, and he's not paying anything.
Yep.
Like I said.
Yep.
So that's why I'm saying, out of respect for his mom's, if she wants to do that, he has no say-so.
He's white.
I get that. But if she pushed the envelope, what can he really do? Push back?
Yeah.
He doesn't, you don't pay no bills.
He's white.
And she'd have been, well,
Your rules, they don't follow those. So
what I'm saying is she could have been like, well, then you can't stay here.
that's not what happened.
I know. But I'm just saying.
What I'm saying is, if this was a black family, you'd be correct.
But I'm just saying.
But this is a white one.
When she
said, don't do that, and because it would disrespect me. And he said, well, it would disrespect me. And then she said, okay. Like that's what happened. And then she had a problem with this lady being clean.
So then she finished cutting the grass or doing whatever she was doing, or trimming. She comes back, she's cooking breakfast. He goes downstairs, and mom's cooking breakfast. And mom goes, where's Joan? I won't say Joanne so bad. Joan. He's like, she's taking a shower. Her mom goes, she's taking another shower?
I thought she meant this lady woke up, took a shower, and now she's back in the shower. No. She's like, yeah, she took a shower last night, and she's taking another one this morning.
Why?
Yeah. Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Mom said,
you can shower at night and then shower again in the morning.
Well, you know, when you guys have your own places, the water bills and all something, bitch, the water bill ain't going to be that goddamn high. Somebody take 2 showers.
Also, when do you guys take showers? You used to once a week?
I guess they wash off in the pool.
How much water do you think is going to get wasted?
They wash off in the pool, Javon.
That is what she said. She's like, if she wants a cold shower, she can just go in the pool. That's not going to clean you.
So.
But okay.
I'm like.
And then she confronts Joan with it as soon as Joan gets out that bathroom.
Yeah, so this lady has been taking little pot shots at Joan the whole time, which he needs to put a stop to.
I don't think he's catching it at all.
He's not. But she's been taking little pot shots at Joan the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So he also tells his mom why Joan is in the shower, and they're talking that he turned down the State Department job in New York. And she's like, you need the money.
Yeah, you're supposed to be starting this life with Joan.
And she's like, how are you going to take care of her if you're not making any money?
Because she can't work yet.
Can't work yet. And he's like, well, that's not what I want to do. I'm like, you don't have a choice.
He does have a choice.
No, people have options, have a choice.
He has a choice.
Yeah, because he has 2 women in his life who allow him to do whatever he.
Correct.
So, like I said, that's Joan's fault.
I still disagree that it's Joan's fault.
Joan should have got off that plane after talking to him, seeing it, the living situation, then getting up the next morning and asking him. Oh, so they go to the grocery store. And she's like, things are expensive. Do you have a budget? He goes, no. And when he tells her that he didn't take that State Department job, that's when she should have been like, okay. When they got back to the house, she should have packed her shit up and went back to
Uganda. Listen, I feel for Joan. I get it. She loves this man, and before she got there, at least the show leads us to believe that before she got there, they had talked about what the situations were going to be for her coming to the States, for her to get married to him, and all of that. And then he lays on her that he didn't do such and such to move forward, which is separate. I get her reflecting on how much time she spent with this man, the plans that they have with each other, and what she just sacrificed to be like, I'm gonna stick this out a little bit longer.
No, he's already at strike 3, and you haven't been there a day yet. You don't have any privacy, really. His mom is taking shots at you, and he's not saying anything. Oh, by the way, he lied about
the job
because he turned it down.
Okay. Do you think she has the money to turn around and go to Uganda?
I don't care. We're going to find it.
Where? She can't work.
Family members, I need to come back. I made a huge mistake. I want to come home.
I don't fault her.
And they're going to figure out a way to get her home.
I don't fault her for trying to see this through. I don't fault her on that.
See what through?
The relationship.
Moving on to our last couple, because I'm not going to talk about that. You're living with a grown boy. Not a man, a grown boy. How much more does he have to show you that he's not ready to be a husband? How much more?
She's not a fortune teller. You're not a fortune teller. So who's to say that he's not going to do something to help take care of her?
He already made bad decisions. He already does that. You can tell.
But this is also a reality TV show.
Whatever. This is your life.
Mm-hmm.
Get your ass back on that plane and go back to Africa, where you actually can afford to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're not struggling. What's the point of coming to America to struggle?
Again, like you just said, it's been a day. This is a lot for her to be like, yeah, let's end the relationship after a day. Let's do it.
Yeah, it don't take me long to process. I'm like, okay, this is not gonna work.
Truly, because I got stories about young Calvin who told me he was going to be a professional basketball player and had zero plan for that.
Seems like.
And if I was following your logic, I should have dumped you right then and there.
Maybe you should have.
You're so crazy.
Because evidently you should have saw that it wasn't gonna happen.
I'm just saying
at some point
that I don't falter for wanting to give it a chance.
But then you act like I was just sitting on a corner not doing anything. I was in the military. There's a difference. I had something.
Calvin, you weren't even playing for the military league.
I was still in the military.
But you weren't even playing for the military league.
I still had a job.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. I had a job.
Technically, he has income. Remember, he does the odd jobs. He does the bakery stuff.
So what if the odd jobs are odd now and he don't have them? I had a source of income on the 1st and the 15th.
You told me you were going to get out and play professionally.
On the 1st and the 15th.
You wouldn't have had it in the 1st or 15th.
Then guess what? I got out to a job. I still had a backup. I had a job.
If I was following your logic, I should have dumped you right then and there because you didn't have anything else lined up.
What you mean? I got out of the military with a job.
You told me that you were going to get out of the military so you could play ball
Why
professionally.
the hell are you inserting me in Greg's spot? I'm not Greg.
But I'm saying is we all have a Greg moment where we're like not really sure what we want to do.
No, I had a Greg moment.
And we're trying to figure it out.
But I had a backup plan. Greg has no backup plan.
Again, you at the time, you did not. You just happened to be in the military. It wasn't like you were like, I'm going to pursue this career.
Okay, whatever. I have a backup plan. Greg has nothing.
You did not have a backup plan. And Greg has odd jobs. He has odd jobs. And the love of Joan.
Let's see how deep that love is when
I kind of want to know if they're still together.
Sleeping outside.
I kind of want to know if they're still together. I mean, as much grief as you're giving Joan, I don't think that she suffers fools. I feel like she's going to let this try to be something until she can't take it anymore. I feel like she is strong enough and confident in herself to be like, I gotta stop. But she just got there, so I don't blame her for being like, okay, well let me see what happens.
That'd have been you. I've been like, I'm sorry, Javon. I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have played every sad song and rolled down the cabins of the airplane on my way back.
Roll down the cabins.
Yeah. Anywho, moving on to the last fiasco that is Juan and Jessica. I think Jessica wants to be a motherly figure. I don't think she wants to be a wife or girlfriend.
I don't think it's a want. I think it's a default.
Okay.
I think her entire identity is being a mom.
Okay.
2 boys.
Okay.
I think that's her whole identity. So now that Juan is there, rather than them building a life that encompasses both of them, it's her life with him there.
So they wake up. She goes down and makes runny eggs, but she calls them what?
She calls them uncooked eggs.
Uncooked eggs, but they're runny eggs with a banana on the side, which is weird.
It's weird.
He gives it to him. He eats it. He's like, okay, cool.
I have a lot of questions for people who just eat eggs as breakfast. Like, that's it. No other side meat, no other vegetables, just eggs. Weird.
Sure. Yeah. So she takes him around the town. It's not even a town.
She's like, it's daylight now. He didn't really get to see the city, in
She did not say city.
the town. She said the town?
If she said city, I'd be like, stop using false equivalencies.
What did she call it then?
She better
The
not have called it
area?
city.
Whatever. But
I
basically,
call it a drive-through.
no, she called it her hometown. So,
Okay, hometown.
she's like, now that it's sunlight, he'll get a better appreciation for it. There's nothing.
It's nothing there. It's literally a drive-through. It's something that you be driving and you be like,
You know what it looks like? It looks like The Walking Dead. It looks like a scene out of The Walking Dead.
yeah. It's like it's a drive-through town. It's a town you drive. It's like you're driving through on the main highway.
It looks like a sundown town.
And then, yeah, it does. It really does. It really does.
Don't stay here overnight.
You like-
we gotta go somewhere else.
You like, you know what? I'm gonna take a shortcut.
Right.
You go through a shortcut and you just drive through a town really quick.
Yeah.
It's like
And
one
then,
light.
and then you're back to like nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one light. You drive through town real quick. It's one light, and then you're back to nothing.
Right.
Wide open,
Space. Nothing.
trees.
No buildings. Nothing.
just nothing. But next time we go to South Carolina, I'll take you through one of those. And it's very scary.
Yeah.
Even through the daytime, it's like, I don't want to
don't
break
want it.
down.
I
I don't
don't
want to
want
break
it.
down. Make sure you gas up.
I don't want it. We drove through Mississippi to go to South Carolina the first time you took me to meet your family.
Yeah.
Remember we went to that something was going on with the tire,
Yeah,
and you had to stop at that,
that
very
was
scary place.
that was Louisiana.
Oh God, it was
yeah.
scary.
I put things behind the doors because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna sleep with my clothes on because I just want to be able to get up and get out of here real
It
fast.
was terrifying. Anyway,
But
the
yeah.
point is, she's like, now he'll see like he can be just as worldly here.
He
Yeah,
goes like,
he can't.
what the fuck? Literally, he goes to like they have one movie theater
It only plays old movies.
and it's Dracula, the Grinch.
That's
How
it.
old is the Grinch?
He's like, how many
And Dracula?
restaurants do you have here? She's like 6.
And
Two
she's
Mexican
acting
spots.
she's acting like this is the best place in town.
He's like, I've never been in a place where you know everybody. And she goes, we have been walking this whole time. I don't know nobody that walked by us. And he goes, no one walked by us.
And she
So-
compares. She's like, this is just like the ship. He's
She-
like,
No, it's not.
if you're comparing your town to a ship, that's even
Worse.
Worse.
Ships are small. So that's not great.
Exactly. And they even get to dock to different places. At
Like-
least you get to different places.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Yeah.
That
He's landlocked.
That comparison makes no sense.
It was dumb. It was dumb. And
So-
then later she's like, get ready because we're going to meet my friends for dinner.
Sure. So then he has to try on 6 different shirts before she agrees with the one he can wear.
Yes.
So she finally picks out his shirt. They leave. They go. They get there. All her friends are there. And the heifer they call Megan, who gets on his nerves. And who's been
Wait, what's her name?
Megan.
No, the girl that we're talking about, the main girl,
Her main girl is Jessica.
Jessica. I think that's her girlfriend. She doesn't know it yet.
Yes. I think Megan is really in love with Jessica.
I agree.
And
Or Juan. She might be in love with Juan.
I don't know,
I
but
think so.
so
It felt like a lot of projection.
yes,
It felt like a lot of
yes.
something bad happened to me and I'm taking it out on you, Juan.
I don't know. It just felt like it was way too much.
She-
So
Ugh. But she
he-
has a history of this. This is not the first time she's gone after him like this.
so
He barely gets in there before she's like, so Let's talk
So
about the cheating.
he gets there and pretty much do a flashback of her interrogating him while they were in where is he from?
Panama.
Panama. And he goes, sure, no. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. She's like, you cheated. She's like, no, nothing happened. No matter what I tell you, you're not gonna believe me.
Right.
She's like, I got woman's intuition. I know something happened. I'm like, how's your intuition working on me? Me not even
We
together?
are not in a relationship. She's like, you still haven't answered my questions. I need you to prove to me that you're going to be good to her. Why would I do
Whatever.
that?
So now he's meeting the friends. They're all drinking, and they have some
They have testicles.
food. What you call it? Delicacy that they eat.
I love that Juan kept saying it must be a cultural thing. I loved that he kept trying to say that this was just their regional culture.
So they give him fried
Balls.
cow
Cow balls.
balls. He takes a bite, like, okay, it's okay. It tastes like chicken. They're like, yes.
They loved it. They were high-fiving. They're like, you did it.
You know what? They probably just put it in flour and just do it in the grease.
I don't think it's balls.
What is it? What do you think it is?
I think it's just meat that they're pretending is balls.
Okay. It's still just
Because balls are grainy. It's not going to taste good.
It's still just put it in flour and do it in the grease.
Listen. Where is he? He's trapped.
So he gets to the bar. He's sitting there. Jessica on one side, and up comes on the other side Megan,
With her questions.
like a panther
Like a vulture.
in the
Not
in
a
the
panther.
Serengeti or somewhere.
Like a vulture.
And she goes, so
Juan.
is that your name? I'm
You
like,
whore. Who else did you sleep with on the boat, huh?
he's like,
Huh?
no one. So pretty much she keeps pressing him.
She's like, no, we know there was a lady. Did you mess with her? And he goes, yeah.
He goes, yes. Yeah, I did. She goes, I knew it.
She looks like she's about to cry in any moment. She looks like she's about to burst into
literally
tears.
About to cry. And then we get a flash to the next episode that pretty much Jessica might have cheated too.
Yeah, because Megan goes, well, that was an ex-boyfriend, so it's different.
And
But
would it be funny if Juan didn't cheat it and he just said that to get it off his back, and he finds out that Jessica actually cheated?
I will be very mad if this is just edited to look like it's following that way, and none of that actually happens. I'll be so mad. But they make it sound like Megan's really trying to get on Juan about cheating. But Jessica chimes in that like they were both broken up and they were both doing their own thing. And then that's when Megan goes, well, that's an ex-boyfriend though.
So it sounds
and Juan goes, what?
So it sounds like they both weren't together, and
and they were both doing things.
And she acknowledges it.
Also, Jessica is not even the one who brings it up. Megan is. Megan has the biggest issue with this.
Yes.
And Juan is not in a relationship with her.
Exactly. So who knows? But that's pretty much the
Megan
end of 90 Day Fiance.
Woohoo! What a show. What a show.
Gonna be, and hopefully next week, love after lockup, new episode should start.
Did you watch the last crime story? Did you finish it?
I glanced. Yeah, I looked at it. It's pretty much about I don't even know her face. The girl that
I want to call her Puppy, but that's not her name.
She's not Puppy. She's the girlfriend of Puppy.
Right. But
and Brandon, not Brandon.
Who?
The black guy name that was the girl in Florida.
Oh, Cameron.
Yeah, pretty much Cameron was pretty much.
Was he dealing drugs?
He's dealing drugs and he was taking checks.
Okay.
So Cameron's backstory is pretty much how he ended up locked up is he had an uncle that was pretty much with his aunt and he was selling and he pretty much started selling weed.
Oh, through his uncle?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he went by it to himself.
Okay.
Then he went and he started. Somebody would give him a checks with his name on it to cash him.
Mm-hmm.
So he would go to the pawn shop and cash those checks.
Mm-hmm.
But the pawn shop or the cash and check place was taking like $60
a percentage off of it.
Yeah. So he's like, he got the body. Maybe I'll just go to the bank and cash these checks. He goes to the bank, cash his check, and he pops on Crime Stoppers on the radio. I guess on the radio they have Crime Stoppers thing, and I guess his buddy got the list and saw his name on the list.
So Chance or Cameron's name on the list?
Yeah, and told him like, yo, dude, you on the Crime Stoppers list.
Dang.
So I guess he was on the run for a little bit, and he decided, I want to get a job. Because he was doing temp agency stuff.
Yeah.
But he said, I want to get a job. So he turned himself in, got like probation or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
was working, then decided he got back into weed, and his buddy was like, "How about we fly the weed to wherever we need to go?"
Mm-hmm.
So he got to the airport, and he knew the baggage would take too long to come out. So finally, the baggage came out, and he knows the bags came together. He was like, "That's kind of odd."
Uh-huh.
Then he noticed police kind of whatever. He was like, whatever. So he waited for a little bit. He waited for the bags to go around a little bit. Finally, he went to pick up the bag, and the cop came up to him and said, "Hey, what's your name?" He's like, "I don't tell you my name." He's like, "Yeah, you do." He tells him his name, but the cop be like, "That's him." Cop tried to grab him. He broke out and ran off. So they're chasing him through the airport.
Mm-hmm.
He runs outside. The cop was like, "I ran track." He's like, "Really? I can't tell." So I guess he's running. The cop, he's like, "I'm gonna tase you." You're gonna have to. Cop tases him. He
You
said,
don't have to.
Cop tased him, and he just remember the ground coming up real fast.
You watched a lot of this. Okay.
And pretty much he knocked himself out when he hit the ground from being tased. He woke up. He was in handcuffs in the back of the car.
Then he woke up
He woke up in handcuffs, whatever.
Then he woke up in them. Oh no.
He had pretty much $30,000 worth of weed.
I just
Fine.
got a kick out of him coming out of jail to meet what's her face,
Mhm.
and he looked like a slave finding freedom.
So that's pretty much how he ended up
Mm-hmm.
in jail. The other girl was doing drugs, and she was moving drugs for Mexicans and all that stuff. And she pretty much, her and her mom.
Yeah, because it was a family.
Her mom
endeavor.
got her hooked on drugs.
Mm.
That's what she says. And her and her mom was working together. I guess they were waiting for some dude.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a call from another guy saying, this dude is acting funny. So I guess they hit everything. And then went outside. And when they were outside just sitting up, they see all these black SUVs roll up and just put guns on them. And they
Mhm.
went to jail. Can't remember her name, but she was the girl that dated Puppy in
Yes.
jail. And she was dating the crazy ex-military dude.
He wasn't crazy.
Whatever. The military dude who
They were crazy.
had her running scams on the military.
No, he didn't have her. She wanted him to run scams. She wanted him to adopt Puppy so that he could get BAH for that. And I'm like, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna. She's an adult. Yeah.
So that's pretty much crime story.
Cool. Oh, I am exhausted, and I got to start the week over again next week.
Sure. Everybody has to start the week over. next
That's
week.
so true.
You doing anything? Watching anything interesting?
Trying to get back into Beyond the Gates, which is the black soap opera that's playing on CBS/Paramount Plus.
Seem like a lot of people kind of into that show.
It's the first time that it's like an all black cast for a soap opera, and
Okay.
it's good. It's Tyler Perry levels of chaos, and I'm excited. I
But-
missed all of last week, so I got to catch up all of last
But
week's
that's
episodes.
a soap opera. I can understand a soap opera.
Oh, you're saying in that frame, you're like,
Yeah.
it makes sense that it'd be like
They
that.
gotta, because it's like if you're doing a show every day,
Yeah.
you got to figure out how to make that stretch.
Yeah.
So you got to give each character got to damn near stand alone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I love it. One of the actresses on there is so over the top. I love it so much.
Growing up on
Passion, Days of Our Lives,
Days of Our
Young and the
Lives,
Restless,
Young and the Restless,
General Hospital,
Santa Barbara General Hospital.
Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a pull. That's a pull.
Um,
I can't believe you remember that.
Which that one you was talking about?
Which one?
This is a spinoff for this show.
Oh, Passions.
Passions, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My mom used to watch Santa Barbara, and Julie used to watch like
I
Young and
loved
the
it.
Restless, and Santa Barbara. Mainly Young and the Restless.
Santa Barbara is so old.
All My Children,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Love
Yeah,
it.
I grew up on all that stupid stuff.
So how come you can't watch the Tyler Perry show? How come you can't watch Beauty and the Black?
There's no white people.
I need white foolishness, okay? Not this black foolishness business.
White people know how to read the words and
Words?
make even the dumbest shit seem real. Because I'm like, that's something white people would do.
You,
I don't believe black people doing some of this stuff. That's the problem. I don't believe some of the black
you
people
said
doing some of this.
racism would not allow them to get away with all of this.
Yeah, I don't believe black people doing some of this stuff. But I do believe white people like, sound like some white stuff. Passions, talking doll, woman talking to a doll,
demons?
demons. Yeah, sound like some white people would do.
You said, yeah.
They
That's
play
fine.
with Yeah, they play with spirits. We don't play with that
That's
stuff.
fine.
Let a doll start talking right now in a black house. That doll will be burnt to a crisp. Burnt to a crisp.
Oh, my God.
Oh, they will blow every bit of holy oil they got in the house down. There'll be a shouting in that house.
Oh, my
I'll tell you that
goodness.
much.
Are you going to watch the Kobe doc?
I started watching it. I'm going to try to finish it.
Are you going to watch the other basketball one? There's another one.
I'm not watching the Celtics one.
Okay.
The hell with the Celtics.
Is it Celtics or Celtics?
Celtics.
Oh. Because it's Celtic. In Ireland, it's Celtic.
That's their version. Our version, we say Celtics.
They originated it. It's not their version.
Whatever.
That's why a leprechaun is the mascot.
No one cares. It's Celtics.
No one cares.
It's an American leprechaun.
No one cares. Celtics. Bizarre. Cool. That sounds good. Well, I mean, I don't want to watch any of those docs, so I need to find something else well, if I have the time. I've been watching the inside of my eyelids. This is what I've been doing this week. So, she said, ouchies. Anything else, sir?
No, enjoy the week, peoples.
Bye. Thank you for listening to We Like That podcast.
So we like that.
Go ahead and click that subscribe button. You know you want to. And rate us 5 stars. I'm Javon.
I'm Calvin.
Later, people.
And we're out.